That's not music, not what I call music. No, sir. Music is a lot of men in a lot of tales making lots of noise like a lot of females. Music is a lot of folks in a big dark hall where they really don't want to be at all, with a lot of chairs and a lot of airs and a lot of fools and diamonds. Music is silly. I hate music, but I like to sing. La-dee-da-da-dee. Welcome, neighbor! Thank you so much for being here at my concert tonight. I am Kendra Kay, and my whole shtick is the Baroque soprano, which I will tell you more about where that name came from later, so stay tuned for that. I would love for you to share in the comments who you are and how you found me. Tell me where you're watching from, because we're all here together having a wonderful time. And that first piece, I Hate Music by Leonard Bernstein, really encapsulates one of the main reasons I do what I do. Because even Bernstein recognized that classical music can be a bore. So I'm here to show that it's not a bore and that it can be a lot of fun and very engaging and very friendly. The first time I performed that piece, I dressed up in bright colors and I wore my sneakers, and this was when I still was very straight classical with performing and usually would wear tights every time I performed and black shoes. But I was portraying a 10-year-old girl and thought, that's not what's gonna happen with this. So bright colors, tennis shoes, made my hair into pigtails, and when I performed this, I broke the rule that I'd been told, which is to gaze up and let the audience come to you, because you're kind of like this museum piece that they're watching. And instead, I looked right into the audience's faces. And when I did that, I had an experience that completely changed me. And I think it affected the audience really as well, because when I looked into their faces, and I looked at them as Barbara, this 10-year-old girl, and they looked back at me and they could see what I was conveying and what I was portraying, and I could see the 10-year-old inside of them in those moments. And there were people who were laughing at the right times, and I could see the joy on their faces that they felt from their 10-year-old self. And then I could also see the insecurities of their 10-year-old self on their faces, and there were moments of tears as well. After that, I thought, I will never perform the same again, because this has radically changed me. And that has led to everything I do here, and that I want to build a community of people who engage with this art form in a way that it feels like you're having an experience and that you are with the performer. I have started a community on Patreon for the Baroque soprano, and I'm going to tell you a lot more about that later. But it is a wonderful place where we will get comfy with opera and get friendly with opera and have lots of discussions and parties. And I welcome you here tonight. So grab a drink, sit down on your couch, and enjoy an operatic experience from the comfort of your own home. The first piece I'm going to perform is from an adaptation of Romeo and Juliet. And it's really interesting that that is what it is because, well, Shakespeare got pulled into opera a lot, and his works got butchered. There's a version where Romeo and Juliet don't die. There's another version of Hamlet where Hamlet doesn't die, and they crown him king on the grave of Ophelia, which is really poignant and I think a very valid interpretation. But if opera could do that to Shakespeare, why can't we do that with opera now and make it what is relatable to us? And I say we can. So again, get comfy and let's go on with the show. Je veux, vivre at my very first live stream concert, which happened at the beginning of the pandemic. And it also was the piece that inspired me to go live in the first place. I had so much time on my hands when the pandemic first hit, and so I was practicing a lot. And I was using backtracks to practice, and I thought, why don't I go live on my Facebook profile, because everyone was doing it at the time. Let's see what happens. And I sent the music through my Alexa speaker and turned on the camera and was like, hey people, I'm going to sing for you. Let me know what it's like. And people loved it. The sound came through pretty well. So after that day, I was convinced, well, I'm going to do this. And I'd had the idea to do the Baroque soprano before. I was introduced to Postmodern Jukebox in 2015, and I love what they do for jazz music and how they make it relatable by covering modern songs in a jazz style. That doesn't really work for opera. Like, I don't really want to sing a Taylor Swift song in an operatic style. It just isn't, it isn't fun to watch. So that just kind of went back in my head, but I had the thought. 2019 comes around and I'm headed to Italy and singing a piece by Pergolesi called Salve Regina. And I started remembering what I know about Baroque music. And I thought, Baroque music's very improvisational, a lot like jazz. Very interesting accompaniments and lots of potential. And as I heard the accompaniment, I started hearing in my head this Stairway to Heaven-esque sound. I thought, I might be onto something here. So I turned to my voice teacher, Michelle, at the time and said, I think I'm going to do some fun projects like this where I cover classical pieces with modern instrumentation and call myself the Baroque soprano. Maybe I'll get a speaker and I'll go busk out on the street and a microphone. If I can't find a band, which, pandemic hit and I definitely couldn't find a band. So that's where the idea for the Baroque soprano came from. And then the pandemic hit and I was like, okay, well, we're doing this. And I started that first live stream. It was April 7th, I remember, and I had 4 days. I put it together in 4 days. I said, okay, I know this music, I have backtracks for it, we're putting it out there. I used Audacity to edit the tracks so that I'd have the right length of time for my cadenzas and be able to stretch where I needed to stretch. And I went live, and it went really well. I really enjoyed this person one-on-one kind of mentality, and it felt a lot like what Fred Rogers did when he would speak to just one child on the other side of the camera. And I'll talk more about Fred a little later. But I was so excited to do all of this. And now it's been a year, and we're still trying to grow this community, and I'm trying to help people engage with this art form in a whole new way. So I'm doing a promotion on my Patreon for what I will call founding neighbors. And there are people who believe in this and jump on early, and so this is me letting you know. And the cool part is that I've been doing this for a year, so now I kind of know what I'm doing. And I have an idea of what people like and what to offer to give you a great value, which I will tell you all about later in the show. So, until May 4th, I have the special pricing and the Founding Neighbors promotion going on. And I'll tell you about that a little later, but it's really time that we move on to the next piece. So this is a piece I did with a company called Operahood, and it's a new piece. It was written just a few years ago, and I premiered it with Operahood. It's called When I Heard the Learned Astronomer by Scalisi. And I love this piece because I'm obsessed with stars and stargazing. But it also reminds me of my favorite book, which is The Little Prince. And this is my favorite quote, and it says, "It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. Fred Rogers had this quote on the wall in his office, and The Little Prince was also very dear to him because it's all about like wonder. That's what life is about, finding the wonder and finding the joy. And the friend who made that plaque for me also made this one that is a Fred Rogers quote and says, "If you could only sense how important you are to the lives of those who you meet, how important you can be to people you may never even dream of, there is something of yourself that you leave at every meeting with another person." So I hope you feel a sense of warmth coming from me to you through the camera, and I look forward to meeting you in my neighborhood. When I heard the learned astronomer, when the proofs, the figures were arranged in columns before me, when I was shown the charts and diagrams to add, divide, and measure them, when I sitting heard the astronomer, where he lectured with much applause in the lecture room. How soon, unaccountable, I became tired and sick, till rising and gliding, rising and gliding out, I wandered off by myself in the mystical moist night air, and from time to time looked up. Looked up in perfect silence at the Isn't that piece just amazing? I didn't even notice Chad doing all the switching.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so happy. He's got that. I realized as we got into the piece, oh, did he have time to do that? Oh, good, he did. So yeah, such a beautiful, amazing work of art, and I hope to work with more composers and do amazing new works that help us convey things that we feel and know right now. Because that's something that we often lose. Like, people just feel like they don't see themselves when they're watching an opera. And I think a lot of that has to do with, there's this barrier of language, the shows are really long, and to sit down and watch an opera, you have to do a lot of homework before. And so I like to think that I am giving you a lot of bite-sized opportunities to enjoy opera in a whole new way, and not be overwhelmed with an entire show, but just give you a smattering here and there to help you feel like, oh yeah, I get this. This makes sense to me. But also, if you're an opera singer, because I know I have a lot of opera singer friends who are watching, it's so wonderful to get together and to be able to talk about the art form and where we can take it and how we can develop it and how we can share our voices in the best way possible. So, what I have for you now is a trailer of one of those awesome little smatterings. I'm starting a web series called The Baroque Sopranos Neighborhood. And this is going to be available to my box office seat donor tiers and my artistic director tiers. So if you join at either of those levels, you will have access to this. And the reason I created the Baroque Sopranos Neighborhood is because I wanted to share the message that everyone is important. That's the most important reason why I did it. And I wanted people to know that it doesn't matter how much money you make, how much attention you get, what you do, how old you are. Those don't define your worth or what you deserve. Also, I wanted to do that with opera. And you won't see this in the trailer, but the first episode pulls an aria from The Elixir of Love, which is about a woman. The aria is about a woman apologizing to someone. And so we talk about how it's important to remember that, like, you can ask someone for something or apologize, and that's a good thing to do, but you don't always know how a person's going to respond, and that's okay. And we need to be prepared for that, and that's the brave thing to do. So with that, I'm going to let you watch this trailer to get an idea of what you will be partaking of in my box office seat donor tier. Hello, opera neighbor. It's a beautiful day in my Operahood because you're here. So I hope you enjoyed seeing that. And I was able to take a minute to read some of your comments. Thank you. Gosh, just seeing everyone here makes me feel so loved and so excited to share all of this with you. And it was really awesome to see that the company who I did learned Astronomer with is here, and also the composer was watching. So that's the best part about doing music with living composers, is that they can actually see you perform it. So the next piece I'm doing, it is the first time I've ever performed it. And there's always got to be a first time to do a piece. So I thought, why not do that for you? And it's also poignant because it's about going on a first trip and the excitement of that and getting out of your hometown and seeing the world, and wanting to just partake of all of that. And I'll talk more about that after and how that relates back to what I do in the Baroque sopranos world. But this is Je suis encore from Manon by Massenet. her role in Manon. Back in 2019, and we did a wonderful production of it that was set in modern times, and this story is supposed to be a cautionary tale about women who chase after fame and beauty and vanity, that you'll die if you do that. But our director was really smart and portrayed it in a very different way, where what happened to her was more about how other people perceived her. She was very young when she was headed to a convent, and then got derailed by falling in love, and then had all these men who were fawning over her and just pulled her every which way. Of course, those shiny, beautiful new things intrigued her, and she was young and impressionable. As I watched this story unfold, I was like, there is a relatable story that most people know about and would understand in the context of this opera, and that is Marilyn Monroe. So one thing that you can look forward to in my tiers as a box office seat donor or artistic director is music videos. And this is a project I am going to work on. There are 3 arias that come from this opera, and I'm going to stage them in a way to portray various phases of Marilyn's life. Adieu notre petite table is perfect to do as a thing with Marilyn and Joe DiMaggio and their relationship. And then the last piece, the gavotte, when Marilyn is at her most famous and everybody is absolutely adoring her, but she's just so out of touch with the world because she just can't handle it anymore and eventually kills herself. But that is a way to understand this opera in a way that we understand the world. So I hope you're looking forward to that, and join my box office seat donor tier to see that. This next piece is probably my favorite aria right now. I don't know, we'll see how long it stays my favorite aria, probably for a very, very long time. And if I could do any role right now, this is what it would be. And I feel strong emotions every time I practice this piece. It's often hard to get through without crying. I like to think about deep things. I like to think about important things, and I like to talk about them, and I like to process them. And this aria is from an adaptation of Our Town, and my aria is the punchline of the entire work, where Emily realizes that life is fleeting and that she missed out on so much because she just wasn't paying attention, and how precious it is. She just gets over with watching her 10th birthday party because she gets to go back and look at one snippet of her life before she moves on in the universe. And it sends her into a fit of existential crisis. And every time I practice this and perform it, my voice is very big. My voice is big. Let's just be, which is why I love doing opera. That's a whole another spiel. But I think that's important to remember about opera, is that having our voices that big is really important because it's about saying something and about being heard. And this message helps me to remember how deeply grateful I need to be for everything life has to offer, and don't take anything for granted. And we get very existential on all of my tier levels of the Baroque soprano, so if you like to have those kind of conversations, you should join my community and be a part of that discussion. I would love to open that world up to you and hear your side as well. So, Emily's goodbye. come off. Such a beautiful piece. And opera to me is about seeing an insight into what is going on inside a person's mind that they wouldn't say out loud. I felt particularly strong about this theory when I watched Falstaff and all of his deceptions about himself and his beliefs. Like he definitely thought he was the bee's knees, when everybody else was like, no, you're not. So he had a lot of self-narratives that are really important to see, because that helps us see that, like, we are all valuable. We all do have something to give, even Falstaff. Before we wrap this concert up, I want to give you my full pitch and tell you all about the amazing things that are happening on Patreon and what you have to look forward to there. So, we're going to pull up some slides, but you'll still be able to see me and hear me. So, on Patreon, I'm working on creating a community for opera, and not, like, I think that opera singers want to engage with this community because they want an outlet for everything that's beyond perfection, 'cause perfection's unattainable, let's be honest. Joyce Donato said that, she did a Tiny Desk concert that was so adorable, where she did arias with a jazz ensemble, and it was like, oh, she did it before me, but of course she did, because she's amazing. But during that concert, she said that the standard in opera is perfection, which is rarely attained, and honestly, really just, it's attained in very small moments. And perfection could be the right emoting, or perfection could be the perfect float on a note, or perfection could be spitting out all the words, or getting a run just right. It's very rarely like a longer moment than that. But she said that standard of perfection leaves very little room for play. So in the Baroque Sopranos neighborhood, we will play. And so the first tier I have available is my season ticket holders. This tier is $5 a month, and in this tier you have access to all of my deep dives, my writings about all that existential stuff, and my patrons really have enjoyed those writings. It's basically like if I have a thought about something and I want to express it, I work it out and then I share it there. I remember one of the ones I shared was about spiders and how I'd stopped killing them, but then one day I found one on my robe, and I was naked really fast after that, because I freaked out, and the poor little guy scurried off, but in that moment of fear, I wanted to kill the spider, which went completely against the nature of everything that I was trying to do, and how I was trying to treat living creatures, but fear takes us to a different place. So that was one of the things I talked about in one of my writings there. As well as writings, you'll get audio journals, which is just updates on what's going on in the Baroque Sopranos neighborhood, what's in the pipeline, and even how my week is going. You'll have access to quarterly live streams. So all of these live stream concerts are going on to Patreon. And you're thinking, well, why? Because I don't want to do the busking thing anymore. Like, if you've been to any of my concerts in the past, I've had a tip jar, and it's like, send me some Venmo or PayPal. I'm done. I'm done doing that. I'm happy to say that, I feel like my concerts are worth, $5 to come and attend, and if that's all you want to do is just come to the live stream once I advertise it, you can join Patreon, come to the live stream, and then go your merry way later. So I'm happy that that's an option for people. But if you stick around, you have all these other awesome things going on with my Patreon. You'll also get digital downloads every month, which includes my ukulele series. I now do covers on my ukulele that I started playing back in November. I just did Can't Help Falling in Love in February, and I did, what did I do in March? I did Blackbird this month. I don't remember what I did in March. And then I have a wonderful, awesome surprise that has to do with an upcoming change and move in my life for May. So that's part of that. And then also if I do any recordings of operatic pieces, whether it's me doing a cover with my own accompaniment track, like the Salve Regina, that's all going to be available. But also if I record something with an accompanist, you'll get to hear that on there as well. So you'll get to hear lots of music. And that's all available just for $5 a month. And that price doesn't change even after this promotion. However, if you join with this promotion, you will get a founding member founding neighbor profile frame, which I will show you in a slide later. So the next tier is my box office seat donors. Currently, the price for the founding members is $10 a month. And if you join at this level, in addition to all the things you get at the season ticket holders level, you will have access to the Baroque Sopranos Neighborhood, which is released quarterly. Any music videos I do, which will be released at least quarterly. And let's see. You'll also have voting in polls. So you'll get to, when I come out with my ukulele cover, you will get to vote on what I should do the next month when I give you that choice. So I'm giving you guys the choice for next month because I've got a really awesome song planned. But after that, you can look forward to helping me pick what ukulele song what song I'll cover on ukulele. Which, you're like, oh, but you're an opera singer. Why are you singing pop songs on ukulele? And it's just a fun way for me to explore my voice because when I was a kid, I would sing along with pop songs and my friends would look at me and say, don't quit your day job. So I just got it in my head that I couldn't do it. But I've worked with some amazing voice teachers in the last few years that have opened up my voice, and I'm like, oh, I can do this because now I have a chest voice. So I know you opera singers out there can relate with that. Anyway, so that's the box office seat donor tier. And the price is $10 a month. It's going up to $20. So you do the math there. It's not just $10 off. It's over the course of the entire time you're a founding member. Your price is $10 every month. So the next tier is my artistic directors tier, and this one's a fun one because this is kind of the collaboration tier and the party tier. We're gonna have a lot of fun. This is a new tier, so I'm really excited to announce it and get people involved in this. I have a community on Discord where we will discuss opera and discuss the opera world. We can talk about gatekeepers, we can talk about the industry as a whole, we can talk about specific operas, we can go into the details of the psychology of the characters and the plot lines, and we're going to have parties where maybe we do a drinking night and we watch an opera and, every time Falstaff says, I'm amazing, take a drink. Which I've done something like that before. I did a piece by Mozart called Tu Virginum Corona, and every time I sang the word Corona, everybody took a drink that was watching. So we'll do fun stuff like that over Zoom and continue the discussion. Artistic directors will play a huge role in the production of the Baroque Sopranos Neighborhood and deciding what the next episode's going to look like, what the music videos are going to be, because I want it to be relatable to you. I don't want to just have it be relatable to me, and having you participate in that discussion and help me with it is going to help me make even better content for everybody. So lots of things to do on that tier, and that is also going up by $10 a month. So right now it's $35 for the Founding Neighbor promotion, which ends May 4th. So you have until May 4th to decide which one of these tiers works. Oh, I'll go here and then go back. So you have till May 4th to decide which one of these tiers works best for you. Over the course of an entire year, if you become an artistic director at a founding neighbor price, then you're going to save $120 on your subscription. So really big promotion, and having you be a part of my neighborhood and inviting all of you that have been here with me this entire year. It's my way of saying thank you to you. I just want to go back and show you these. These are the founding member profile frames. So anybody who joins will get this emailed to them, and you can put it over it. If you have any trouble like figuring out how to do that, it's not hard for me, so I'll help you out with that. But Canva is the easiest way to do it. So I'll send it to you in a way that, like, if you just go to the free app, Canva, or a website, you just put the two together and it matches up and it looks really nice. So, let's see. Is there any more slides? Oh yeah, just become part of my neighborhood, because we're going to have a lot of fun there. You're going to feel the warm fuzzies and friendliness of opera, experience my Fred Rogers vibe, and be a part of a whole new way of consuming opera. And I know there's a lot of amazing singers doing different things out there. This is just my thing. So if it floats your boat, then join the hood. So that's my thing. I really hope to see you there. Follow me on Instagram if you want to stay up to date on everything I'm doing. And I will be talking more about these amazing offers over the next week before the launch ends and we go to our normal tiers and the pricing changes. So, with that, I'm going to perform my last piece for you. And this is a piece that I performed at the end of every live stream I did for the first 2 months of the pandemic. So that was, and I did one once a week. It was about, like, I had nothing else to do, but I about killed myself. Because I also didn't do any repeat music. I had a whole new set every week, 5 new songs every week. Which, you know, that's a good way to practice being in the industry, right? But I did do this at every single one of those concerts, and that's Danny Boy. And the reason I did Danny Boy is because it is the piece that gave me my singing legs. My mom would make me perform it for everybody, and it's how I started to love being in front of people and helping people have an experience through music. Mountain much for being here with us tonight. It was a joy to perform for you, and I'm going to miss this guy so
Yes.
much.
We've had the privilege and honor of being each other's roommates for the past however many months. But yeah, throughout much of this pandemic, and it's been lovely having an in-house singer, and she's loved having an in-house pianist.
Yes, I have. So thank you for being with us tonight. If you have any questions, please send me a message on Instagram. I would love to talk with you. And have a wonderful, snappy evening. Good night, everybody.